Patanari, who will introduce the projects.
So hello everyone. So my name is Giulio Battanaro and I'm working for the European Research Executive Agency, which is one of the executive agencies of the European Commission that is monitoring projects funded under the Horizon Europe Framework Program for Research and Innovation. I'm mentioning all of this because actually the two projects that we are going that are going to be presented during this session, they are both funded by the same call of Horizon Europe, which was an innovative call from 2023, in which the purpose of the call was to combine research and innovation in the field of bio-based solutions with the humanitarian context. So you will see in the presentation from the two project teams how both teams are tackling these issues with complementary perspective, I would say, because complementary in both of products they are looking or specific fields. So we have one project, WORM, looking at field hospitals and livelihood context with waste pickers on the one hand, and we have the other project, Bio4HUMAN, that is looking at the solid waste management. So there's complementarity of sectors, of areas of activity, let's say, and also some complementarity in terms of you will see countries that are like non-EU countries that are involved as case studies. And I don't want to use too much time. Just wanted to say that the purpose of the call was really, the main purpose was to combine bio-based solution research with the humanitarian context. But I think there are two other elements which are important to highlight at this stage. The first one that, it's also key to the success of both projects, that this is also an experiment, if you want, to combine the more academic research project and environment. So basically having academic people working with people on the ground, on the field, on humanitarian. So there's also, I think, a lot of mutual learning, different way of working, etc., that needs to be combined. And I mean, this enriches the final results. And also the other thing that I want to highlight, I mean, this joint presentation is the result also of a sort of joint work that started from day one of both projects, because of the complementarities among the two projects. From the very beginning, the two teams, they work together. So there's a lot of communication material that you can find online that has been developed jointly. And personally, I'm very happy to see that these synergies are building every single day more and more. So that's a very, very positive thing. And and I think also in the end, this will also contribute to a further policy outreach of the project. Because I mean, when you have also people working together, developing synergies, you are normally also more effective in reaching out to the final end users from the field, but also from the policy community behind. And I think that's a plus. So I have to say thanks to both consortia for all the work so far. And I give the floor to WORM first.
Right. Yeah. To remember that is always a difficult thing. Thank you so much. We will start off with WORM. My name is Gyöngyi Kovács and I happen to be the consortium PI. But instead of just listening to me, we have a nice little video clip for you about WORM, of what the entire project is about. Thank you. Shall we move on to Bio4HUMAN?
Sure. Just one clicker, please. Okay, good, no problem. Okay, so next slide. So thank you very much, first of all, WORM, for having us here. Bio4HUMAN, we are very happy, and I'm also very happy that our work package leader, who is leading the scoping exercise of all Bio4HUMAN project, could join us. Damian, who will be presenting the initial work on the scoping for eventually 10 bio-based solution that we would like to have as our end result for Bio4HUMAN. Same as WORM, we are working under Horizon Europe under Cluster 6, which is focusing on the bioeconomy. And as Julia was saying, and I really like that highlight of that combination of bioeconomy actors and humanitarian organizations. Indeed, the biggest challenge, but for us in the consortium, I would say the biggest fun, and also something that is really bringing that practical results where research is meeting the field. And we can see it also in each and every report that our partners need to comment on and agree on together. So I'm really happy for this interdisciplinary collaboration that we have going on here in Bio4HUMAN. We have two humanitarian organizations, one from Czech Republic, People in Need, and another from Poland, Polish Humanitarian Action. I really want to highlight them here because they are really a great asset to this consortium and really making it work in our two locations in Africa, which is DRC and South Sudan, areas with protracted armed conflict going on for years and years. So it's very valuable to have two humanitarian organizations that are on the ground for years in both of these locations. I can move to the next slide. Yes, so it's an animation, so it would be better if I have the clicker, but all fine. So you can move, Margot. It's all fine. So here is really that challenge that we are presenting. As you know, both projects are tackling with the fact that when the humanitarian aid is being shipped to the specific humanitarian locations, a lot of solid waste is being generated. So Bio4HUMAN is aiming to really tackle this challenge. We can move with the animation. And forward. You can just move it. Yes? Good. Sorry. I think it just makes more sense. Yes. So on the picture, you can also see the pictures that from the needs assessment that we have conducted in DRC and South Sudan. So you can see really that the challenge is omnipresent, and this is something that we are looking at with Bio4HUMAN. So really, the initial idea is to how to connect the bioeconomy sector and how to really link it also with the humanitarian actors, and also thinking of it. And I believe that everyone agrees with it as a new sector, as a new market also for the bioeconomy actors. Because when talking and trying to scope for the solutions, this is what this is what we saw, that directly when speaking with solution owners, that sometimes even looking at the humanitarian field wasn't something that they have thought of before, and only now this is something that might open the door. So this is something that is one of the valuable outcomes that we have so far. We are reaching the mid project right now, but something that we want to have a look at. So you can see that we have mapped the needs of the humanitarian sector, mostly in the two locations in DRC and South Sudan, in order to scope better for the solution that the specific locations are needed. And we are currently starting the life cycle assessments, which WORM has already conducted, but this is the work that we have been doing since December. So I wouldn't give here yet some sneak peeks because we will finish only in September. And we will conduct both environmental assessment, life cycle assessment of the solution, and also life cycle costing of the solutions. This is something that we saw is very valuable for humanitarian organizations. We already conducted one internal training for our humanitarian organizations, because this was one of the topics that was under LCA, very interesting for them, but very technical. So something that we want to look forward how to do it further. And starting this year, we are also looking how the solutions that Damian will later talk about are really fitting the environment of the two locations, from the socioeconomic aspects, from the governance aspect. And we are really conducting something we cannot really indeed go to the field since we are CSA action, but really having a look at the feasibility of the solutions that we propose and talking to different types of communities in these two countries will be key. And based on that, of course, we want to really proceed by suggesting different type of guidelines for different type of stakeholders, be it policymakers, bio-based sector, humanitarian aid practitioners, but also scientific community, because this is something that we also saw in our consortium, that the topic is really catching up the interest, so we wouldn't want to lose the momentum. As I was saying, our two study locations are DRC and South Sudan. Very challenging, especially with everyone knowing what is currently happening in DRC, and also our partner People in Need being funded by US aid is another element that we may need to tackle in the future of the project. But this is where we are. And just a last slide. This is what has been currently achieved. The green is what has been done. You can find it on our website of the project, bio4human.eu. Orange is something that is really coming to a close, or something that is currently being conducted, and the rest will be done in the later parts of the project. So this is all from Bio4Human. We also have a nice video, so you can see it, but I think, yes, WORM gave it a great kickoff.
Thanks, Andrea. That's super interesting. So in the video, you already saw a glimpse. Oh yeah, so I'm Virva Tuomala. I'm one of the researchers on WORM. I work at Hanken School of Economics and the Humlag Institute. So in the video, you also already caught a bit of a glimpse of our priority product groups. So we've chosen personal protective equipment, syringes and needles, sharps containers, body bags, and temporary sludge bladders as the product groups that we are looking specifically into in terms of, for example, the LCAs, which my colleague will go into now. And because our context is the field hospital and the humanitarian context, we, after talking to our stakeholders and our network and our partners in the project, end users and such, these are the products that we decided upon. Personal protective equipment obviously is a huge generator of waste in this context. Syringes and needles can prove to be hazardous, as well as then a huge environmental impact coming from single-use syringes. Sharps containers are actually kind of a hidden source of waste that's not often maybe talked about, but sharps containers and other waste containers are a significant generator of waste. Body bags can be quite an environmental hazard, as they are buried into the earth and they can leach chemicals and microplastics into the environment through the burial of, and they remain in the environment, so to speak. So with body bags, it's particularly important to be made out of biodegradable or bio-based materials. And then temporary sludge bladders are both a water hazard as well as a plastic hazard, as they are usually made out of plastic, and that again can contribute to microplastics in the environment. And we have a bit of an LCA example.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joseph. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Kuhn Logistics University. We conducted the LCA with a lot of input and support from our partners, of course. So just, I think actually the animation, yeah, okay. So if we just look at the typical LCA approach, the first part here was to identify what the goal is, and we want to look at the production of bio-based and conventional products. So for example, if we take a face mask, we look at the conventional materials and then what this would look like when they're produced by bio-based materials. And this is then at the beginning of the life cycle, so at the production phase, but then we also look at waste treatment. So how do different materials react to different waste treatments? So comparing again conventional versus bio-based. And then within that, we have the different inputs. So this could be technical inputs such as electricity or materials, but they can also be biological inputs like water, land, agricultural products, for example, with bio-based. And then you see in the middle under the process, the different steps that we include in this LCA, which results in different outputs to emissions to air, land, and water. And then you have some examples here of the different outputs that are included as part of the life cycle assessment. And the last step is then the interpretation and also checking the validity of the results. So this is sort of an overview of the steps that we took here. And here's an example of the waste management for the face mask. So we just look at one example, but feel free, of course, the deliverable is published since beginning of January on our website for the life cycle assessment. So what's quite interesting in this one, incineration and open burning are the highest, especially for the conventional products. Those are the two bars you see, for example, under climate change, the highest ones there. But we also found, which was also kind of interesting to see when you model the waste of the bio-based material, and here we assume that it's fully biodegradable as well, that actually over time, if you're just dumping it, that the degradation process of that actually leads to kind of high methane emissions compared to burning. So there's different trade-offs to consider also. But perhaps what we could say would be, didn't the alternative one wasn't not in there? It was just this last slide.
Yeah,
LCA.
yeah.
Okay. So if we then summarize the different results for the LCA, we looked first at in the first box to the left, the bio-based versus conventional materials, and we find that the bio-based materials generally have a lower environmental footprint, and the typical materials we modeled here were like starch-based plastics, as well as some natural rubbers and a few other substitutes. They generally have a lower footprint, especially in terms of climate change. But one point to notice would be the water pollution, so specifically freshwater ecotoxicity and eutrophication associated with producing the bio-based materials. And we modeled also looking at different, if we use more organic or less synthetic pesticides and herbicides, what's the result there? So that's something to keep in mind when we try to increase the use of bio-based materials. And then as well, the waste management and the conventional, if we're, in this case, would be typically fossil fuel-based plastics are much higher during the waste management phase. Common waste management practices are uncontrolled open dumping, open burning, which lead to significant pollution. And especially when we talk about medical waste, incineration is the common method. But again, incineration, open burning will lead to the highest impacts. Probably also what consider quite interesting if we're thinking about, although this is a waste-focused project, we're definitely also thinking about procurement as a gatekeeper. And when we compare the environmental footprint of production versus the waste management, so the production phase versus the end-of-life phase, the production typically has a much higher footprint. But in this case, you also see procurement as a gatekeeper and really thinking about the life cycle approach to waste management. And then lastly, less hazardous or non-destructive waste management for hazardous waste. So since we are looking also at field hospital settings, it's important then to consider what happens with hazardous waste. It's almost always incinerated. And then we also look at what's the potential for alternative methods. So examples here, autoclaving, chemical disinfection, and microwaving. And then those are followed by sanitary landfill. And we see that actually the environmental impact of these alternative methods was much lower than typical incineration. And yeah, please feel free to look at the reports where this is detailed, much more details.
There's a link under start browsing.
So my name is Claire. I am the Managing Director of Solvos. We are one of the partners within the WORM project. And as Sarah already mentioned, within the WORM project, procurement is seen as a gatekeeper. We, as part of the WORM project, have deployed a catalog. It's a procurement portal, because it's one thing to have all this amazing research, but we have to translate this into operational documentation that the humanitarian sector can actually take up, but also have a mechanism in place where the private sector can integrate or can showcase their solutions towards the sector on what's out there. So if you go to the WORM website, on the upper corner, there's a go to the catalog, which will bring you to this website. It's multilingual. We launched it in Vietnam in October, so it's also in Vietnamese, but it's in French and in other languages. It can also be deployed in other languages if there's any demand for it, so feel free to reach out. And it works in two ways. It's an open access dissemination tool. So if you go to the body bags, for example, there's all sorts of body bags, which has also included bio-based technical specifications, but it also has ability for suppliers to inform proactively the NGOs and the humanitarian actors globally. So that's basically, in very, very short, what the catalog is about. If you have to run market assessment, there's an integrated market assessment technology in the back that can be utilized, and we're more than welcome to onboard you, or if you have any questions, to reach out.
Sorry, we're going back to the presentation because we had to switch to the website.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Damian. I represent ProCivis Foundation from Poland, and we are leading this work package relating to scoping of bio-based solutions. So today I want to talk with you really briefly about the outcomes of our scoping. So the list of bio-based solutions, so the solutions that could be applied in humanitarian settings, especially supporting the solid waste management. Basically, those solutions will be either bioproducts or biotechnologies. Yeah, and I want to show you what we have done, what are the challenges, and few examples of what we have found. Okay. Yeah, maybe I want to start with maybe some background presenting you the challenges about the bio-based solutions, because it's really obvious that it's really expected and needed, but along our scoping, we have found many, let's say, barriers or challenges that has to be like faced. So there are great potential, but also great challenges, but I think that could be tackled. So we have, maybe I will present, we have found, we have categorized it in 6 groups. Yes, so we have economic viability, operational challenges, knowledge gaps, logistics, social barriers, and other regulatory hurdles. So maybe I will not go through each of each of these points, but I want to show you the big picture that it's really challenging. And maybe I want to go on the first one, the economic side, because I know the costs are really important in the humanitarian settings. So the last point, it's that it's mentioned that bio-based, it's not like competition to these fossil-based solutions applied now. But I want to share with you my experience with talking one of the owners of these solutions that we have scoped during this exercise, that he actually told me that it's not that bio-based solutions are like too expensive. It's like we are not paying enough for fossil-based solutions, because it doesn't consist the costs of health, of environment impact, and so on. So I think this scoping exercise was really like eye-opening in some ways. So what we have done, first of all, we have made a long list of bio-based solutions, And how did we found it? Okay, so we had 5 investigation lines. We call it investigation lines. So the areas that we have been looking for those solutions. So going from the left hand side, we did surveys with members of bio-based industries consortium. We analyzed the outcomes of CBJU projects, which is also related to circular bioeconomy, applications for patent offices, web pages of national international organizations advocating for bio-based solutions. We have scoped trade fairs for solutions that got awards in the context of bio-based area. And finally, we have one additional solution from our project partners, so from academia, that really fitted the whole picture. So we came with the list of 81 solutions, and it was a long list, and we started to work on it. And we took different criteria, for example, innovativeness or TRL level, or even willingness the owner of the solution to help us with LCA, yes, to provide us some more information. So from 81 we went to, I think, 32 solutions, and we have clustered it in those seven groups. So multi-purpose packaging products for food and drinks, hygiene products, and so on. And we have also divided the technological part from to small scale and to big scale technologies. And just 3 examples of those solutions that have been found. So in the group of multi-purpose packaging products, there were packaging based on seaweeds, so really bio-based. And it could be used for different types of boxes or other, in general, to replace cardboard, for example, or other plastic packaging. We have compostable sanitary pads that can be afterwards used to be biogradated and used in agriculture. And as a small-scale technology, there was a black soldier fly, so using the insects to transform like organic waste into high-protein animal feed and fertilizer, for example. So for each of the solutions in our report, we have like a characteristics. So how does it work? What is the outcome? And so on. So I really recommend to go into it. Yes, and we were really happy that we did like a workshop with humanitarian actors. So we engaged stakeholders from that work actually in the field, in the humanitarian organizations, to help us, to assess those 32 solutions and tell us, what is important for you, what is like really could be useful in your setting. Yes, so we had a really nice workshop, and actually they excluded 4 of the solutions. Basically, it's like it weren't like transferable to humanitarian setting, or there was some problems with skills how to manage these technologies, or this technology also only address the one part of the problem. Yes, so so it was like a main reasons why we excluded some of the solutions. And yes, and what have left? Yes, so those are the main features of the selected bio-based solutions. So yes, so using the renewable raw materials combined with wastes, and mostly related to compostable or biodegradable processes. And technologies, yes, as you can see, mostly to be used in the remote areas, rural areas, that could support the humanitarian settings. So I think this is my last slide. So this is really brief presentation of our outcomes, but our report is like, I think it's public and you can go through it and really see in details what we have encountered. So thank you.
Sorry. My name is Pam Steele. I'm one of the WORM work packages lead within PSA, and of course working with other work packages. And I think, Julia, I would like to still put your message about mutual learning, that I think this is one project that has brought together academia and practice to work on something. Over the years, I saw so many research done, and a lot of it gathered dust on the shelf, and the mistakes of past emergencies were always repeated. So to have an opportunity to apply whatever we learn from research on an ongoing basis is a great opportunity. And I think that's where my presentation comes in, with what we are doing this year. And that's following the research that we did last year that gave us some insight into some of the challenges and the gaps that the county where I am based in, Kisumu in Kenya, where the project is being implemented, was really grappling with. And that has led to the need for local awareness campaign that aims to promote sustainable medical waste management practices, not just with the humanitarian local actors, but also the public health facilities that deal with the waste on a day-to-day basis beyond the emergency situation. So in this initiative of this year, we are engaging communities through creative and interactive methods, which will include different activities, mainly seeking to reduce harmful practices of waste handling and disposal. And that is by increasing awareness of safer alternatives. So in Kisumu, we are engaging youth who will help with the dissemination of the brochures that basically will be communicating about waste, best practices in waste management. And we will also be engaging the youth in youth artists to create some murals, which will be placed on the different buildings within various hospitals within Kisumu, where the public can see the patients, of course, everyone walking into the hospital compound. And we have got permission to do that with about three or four health facilities within Kisumu. These are key strategic hospitals where majority of the population visit, with the highest level of referral hospital being one of them. So we are very excited about that. So at the same time, we'll be looking at creative performances, theater performances, poetry slams, again, narrated by the youth to the public, and some educational content that will contribute to awareness promotion within the county. The end result should be that there's increased awareness and that there's active participation from local youth and communities in waste management, but also that that will lead to safer adoption of more environmental friendly waste treatment methods. And bear in mind that we are not only working with health facilities, but we've engaged policymakers within the National Environmental Management Agency leadership, who have worked with us through this journey, right from the research days to now the awareness campaigns. There'll be also prominent visual displays that will happen coming in June on the World Environmental Day. That will be the climax of all these efforts, and we are hoping that at the end of it we'll have achieved these results. So far, we have gotten the permission of the key authorities, that is the Public Health Department. We have issued press release to just create awareness of this initiative. And we are now working with the artists to sort of get to practice their acting, their theater performances, and the poetry, and including the development of the mural structures. So we've got samples that we have had them to create. This is the brochure, I think, which we have, created. And if you have any other thoughts, ideas on what should be included, but we thought we have exhausted most of the key information that we need to share. These are the brochures that will be shared by the youth in marketplaces, but also in hospital and any place where there's frequent visiting by the crowd. Is there more?
I think it's now.
That's theirs? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, really applying that knowledge into practice on an ongoing basis. Thank you so much. Over to you, Bio.
Okay, back to me. Okay, maybe one comment in the beginning, because in Bio4HUMAN we do not have like specific tasks related to raising awareness and so on, but this topic appears in different in our work or different tasks. So maybe we would like to show the topic of waste awareness campaigns on maybe how to approach it. Yes, so during our work, we have done many assessment of challenges, of needs, and on the left-hand side, you can see our needs assessments in this DRC and South Sudan. So we have this lack of official solid waste management infrastructure and services, lack of awareness, low perception of responsibility, protracted armed conflict, which is really important, problems with regulations, inadequate segregation systems, and different bio-based barriers. So we have assessed it in the context of those two countries, but we were also making an analysis of supply chains. So, and the awareness in the supply chains also is a really important topic. So in other humanitarian settings, not in those two countries, we also have the challenges or the problems, yes? So awareness of waste generated and quantity of generated waste, education and awareness about waste handling, separation and disposal, limited knowledge on waste generated in supply chains, mentality, and of course this priority that, well, the most important thing is to deliver the aid and maybe not the climate responsibility. Yes, so we have this challenges related to awareness. So during we are working now on gap analysis report, which addresses the gaps in the supply chains, humanitarian supply chains in the context of solid waste management. And we have different actions, different ways to bridge in the gaps, but as an essential, like a part of the plan is also how to raise the awareness and how to communicate the changes, yes, the impacts. So maybe on this slide, it's like a general idea, maybe how to, what are the key objectives or how to approach the waste awareness campaigns related to implementing bio-based solutions, but also other types of raising awareness in these humanitarian settings, yes? So we have, of course, engaging stakeholders and coordinating them, raising awareness in all the supply chain stages, yes, all the actors, not being like really like selective, yes, but trying to address the whole supply chains. Like boosting the strength of organizational integration, yes, so develop some action plans to work together, and of course support the local engagement. So yeah, because it has always a local problem, yes, that the local communities also always has to be engaged. Yeah, so those were the objectives and maybe some key principles. So clarity and simplicity of the message, context-specific adaptation, inclusivity, two-way communication. So maybe those principles, without being too concrete, is like they has to be part of this waste awareness campaigns to address what we want to convey in a proper way. Yes, and in this part I will.
Yes, actually, this is our concluding slide, but we wanted to like link also the waste awareness with the activities that we will be doing in one of our last work packages. And before I was mentioning that we will what is really important for us when we narrow down the solutions after LCA is to really conduct that feasibility evaluation in the community. So part of this feasibility evaluation will be really direct work with the communities through the focus group discussions, through the key informant interviews, and also individual consultation and group workshop. We have the groups established already when we were conducting the stakeholders analysis and needs assessment, and it's really good that we are linking it with the ongoing work of the humanitarian organizations in these specific settings. Therefore, I would say that the trust of the community is something that is well established, and it's not something that we are coming and as a new actor to the field, but this is something that is like directly feeding into the activities of both organizations. But something that I would like to convey message of both of our humanitarian organizations is really for us the importance is really that the solutions that we will present in the end of the project that the different members of the local stakeholder community really are interested to take future ownership of the solution, and really link it with this sometimes called soft relevance, even though I don't like really this term, but really conducting the raise awareness campaigns once the solution is there, conducting different type of training, and also it goes with the LCA. In the previous session that was in this room about the supply chain, that was actually very much my concern, that like we are all the time like we are a lot talking about LCA, and I'm not talking as LCA expert, but like for us in the consortium, I can see how important is that knowledge transfer between the humanitarian sector and, like, for example, our like technical LCA expert, that we see that this is a very high interest, but that knowledge transfer is something that we are trying to build up within the consortium. Eventually, all the activities that will be conducted in the humanitarian settings in the second part of the year, and also will tackle a bit the waste awareness through the work with the communities, is something that we want to include in our like end product of the project, that is our replication roadmap. So something that can be really taken within the humanitarian sector and within policymakers and with bio-based sector further down the line, and really can set some setting stone, hopefully also with the input from our WORM partners and more projects like this. Won't be experiment, but will be will be cooking in the kitchen of Horizon Europe or any other funder. So thank you very much, and please follow us down the line. I believe this might be really interesting. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to have Bio4Human here with us. It's the first time we're meeting face to face with Andrea and Damien, so that was a really great experience. Now, if anyone from the audience has any questions or comments or up for discussion, we have an idea on the slide. What innovative community engagement strategies have you used in your own contexts to address public health challenges, and how might we adapt those ideas to further enhance our campaigns' impact in humanitarian settings? So this applies to both WORM and Bio4Human. So if anybody from the audience or if anyone in the room or in online or in the room has any questions or comments regarding this or suggestions or ideas, we would love to hear them, but also feel free to explore Bio4Human and WORM's websites. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact any of us, really. But yeah, for now, if anybody has any fun ideas or suggestions, would love to hear them. But also, yeah, feel free to reach out later if something amazing comes to your mind. Oh, hi. Yes, Trin, please.
Um, I think that that is very nice to have both projects together, so I can understand the other Bio4Human what those bio-based solution is looking like. That in our project we also have a part dealing with the bio-based, how it's going to be end up in the treatment technologies and how we choose treatment technologies that are suitable for the bio-based materials. And then I just want to ask that according to the surveys and so on, so is that the front end? It means that the bio-based materials front end technologies already available, but it's how the material entering the humanitarian operation. Has it been any kind of case that you already see that it's already exists, or it's already still very much at the hypothetical setting yet?
Yes, thank you. I think some of these solutions are already implemented for example, in Africa. The example that I have shown is black soldier flies. So this insect tackling the organic waste. I think it's also a project, but it's like it's functioning on some small scale. Yes. So. And I think there were some bio-based solutions related to biofertilizers that are already introduced. So yes, it's not totally, just in the ideas in the drawer, but it's like really most of them are TRL level, so technology readiness level around 8 or 9, so really close to implementation. Yes, but like I showed during my presentation, there are lots of other barriers. Yes, so it's like possible, but of course there are barriers like costs or in terms of humanitarian settings, it's like even access to energy or infrastructure. So yeah, so many of those solutions are really like possible to implement, but and some of them are already implemented, but yeah, but it's possible, but we have to like meet certain conditions. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Just to add, I think we had this division of small scale and large scale technologies. So for the waste treatment, I think that in the small scale, the list was very merry in the beginning, and then we tried to narrow it down to be more complex, for the different types of settings. But I think also we don't want to exclude fully that longer list. So we can also like share that video that maybe there is a fit that really fits particularly your cause, you know, and maybe it's something that we haven't the final one, but it's maybe something that we might have put on hold for now, but it's a solution that may be applicable. So yeah.
Thanks. Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, if not, thank you for everyone who joined. This was a really great session for us to bring the two projects together, and hopefully we'll have other sessions, like webinars and stuff that we will then make sure to invite everyone to. Please keep a lookout, join our mailing list. We have a newsletter, sometimes a joint one, so that's exciting. But thank you so much, and yeah, have a great afternoon / evening, wherever you are, or morning, I don't know. All right, thank you so much.